What's up, guys? Video number 2 here. I don't know if you could tell or not, but I'm getting better at this every single day. Uh, so, the whole reason I actually ended up starting this was to learn how to make videos and edit videos. So, as you could tell now, we've got a little intro thing, I've got a logo thing, and I actually set up a Instagram thing where if you feel like messaging me how much I suck and I should give up poker altogether, feel free to hit me up on there. Uh, Still can't fix the lighting in here. I don't know what to do about that, but we'll figure that out soon enough. So we've got a couple of hands today, so let's go ahead and get into them. All right, guys, so here we go. First hand I wanted to talk about here was one I played. Where we were dealt pocket queens and how we had to navigate this board with our pocket queens. Some context here. We're in early position in this hand. We make our standard, I think it was $10 raise at pre-flop at this point with queens, and we actually get a couple callers, but I'm just going to focus on our nemesis in this hand after the flop. So we get queens. We make our pre-flop raise, just calls all around, and we go see a flop. Uh, that flop is ace 10 5 with two hearts. So if I am the pre-flop aggressor and an ace hits the flop, I'm gonna bet that 100% of the time. Uh, the benefit of being a pre-flop aggressor, whether you have pocket aces or whether you've got 7-8 suited, people are going to put you on a strong range, and they pretty much have to fold out all their hands that do not contain on this board, all hands that do not contain, an ace. So you're going to take down a lot of pots. Let's say in this hand I had, 9 or 8-9 of spades. Obviously, this hand the flop doesn't hit me at all, but because I was able to raise pre, people are going to fold out, pocket nines, pocket jacks and stuff here, just by having that pre-flop aggression. So in this case, I do make my standard C bet here. I don't really remember. I probably bet around 25 bucks. And what's interesting about this hand here is I actually get raised by my nemesis in this hand. He makes it around probably 50, 60 bucks. So not a huge raise. I remember that. It was basically a min raise, maybe a little bit more than a min raise. So it folds back around to me. So to me in this hand, he's pretty much defining what he has. He's got an ace, probably not a great kicker. Definitely doesn't have ace king, ace jack, or ace 10, because he would have re-raised me, in my head, my thinking, he would have re-raised me pre-flop if he had a decent hand. And, I mean, maybe not with ace 10, but we're going to see it here. So that tells me he has an ace, but it's probably not the best ace in the world. I've got a couple backdoor draws. If this hand gets sticky, I can still hit a queen. So I'm not going to fold here for the min raise, even though I know I'm behind at this point. So I just call his min raise, and we go to see a turn. So it's the 7 of hearts. So that puts the flush out there. So I see the 7 of hearts, and I want to use that to my advantage. So I just called his raise, and then we obviously both see the heart hit the board. So I want to use that to try to blow him off his weak ace. So if he has, like, let's say ace 3, if I put in a decent sized bet here, that ace 3 shrivels up pretty quickly. He could already be dead to a flush. I could easily have ace king, ace queen, ace jack in my range as the pre-flop aggressor. So I want to get him to fold that weak ace. So at this point, I make pretty much a pot-sized bet, probably 150 bucks, 100 bucks. And he does groan and say, "Oh, the effing flush got there," and folds his hand. Now, I'm assuming he had a weak ace, but Something else that I want to talk about this hand with is I showed my pocket queens after this hand that I was semi-bluffing with the queens because I did have that queen of hearts for if he does decide to call as a backup. But I showed the pocket queens there because this was early in the game, and my mentality there is, hey, I want to tell the table I'm an action player, get involved with me, and I want to tell them to call me down light. So they see that, they're like, oh, this guy's capable of making moves. But when I do show that at a table, I'm rarely going to bluff again at that table because I know people are going to be in that mentality to call me down. But I want that. I want to get paid on my strong hands. If they only think I'm only playing the nuts, they're not going to call with just that, top pair or something like that. So I wanted to show the table that I'm there to splash around a little bit and maybe get paid on future streets. So that's why I showed the bluff there. But rarely do I bluff twice in a night there. So that's hand number one. He folds. We don't get to see a river. So we're off to hand number two. This one's an interesting hand because I think it's a mistake a lot of people make. So we're going to go over it here. So we get dealt the 7-8 suited. We're in late position. Early position here raises to about 15 bucks. I'm going to call in late position and see a flop because there was other people in the hand probably getting 4-1 on my call there. 7-8 suited, good enough. We're going to go see a flop. All right, good flop for us. We flop trips. So this is the mistake I think people make. Feel free to disagree, but the pre-flop raiser went ahead and bets out. Now he could be c-betting a ton of stuff. He could have totally missed and c-bet, understandable. But what I think a lot of people do here is slow play their big hands. So I flop trips here. He bets out. So I think a lot of people would just call here, but just think about just think about raising here. Just because most people would call here, he knows that too. So what am I raising? Am I raising a queen? There's no draws out there, so it confuses him. What am I raising? And it's going to get more money in the pot if he has aces, kings, something like that. He's not folding. Now, if I just call, what am I calling with? I'm calling with a minimum of a queen, maybe some pocket nines, pocket tens, just to see where the hand goes. But I could definitely be slow playing an 8 there. So that may cause caution in him, but I like to get money in the pot when I have a good hand here. So I do end up raising him. And he thinks about it for a while, and he ends up shoving all in. So obviously he doesn't think that we have an 8 here, which is good for us. He shoves all in. Obviously we call. I'm ecstatic. I'm about to get his stack, and then he flips over the ace queen suited. Great. I'm in a great spot here. And then sure enough, the queen comes right on the turn. We end up losing this pot. But I love my play on this hand. I got him to stick it in with a worse hand. I just got unlucky. Guy hit a 2-outer. But playing that game, that was one of the guys that we wanted to hit a 2-outer because it kept him around longer and he was able to play longer with us. So yeah, those are a couple interesting hands that I played recently, and I'll continue to do this. So feel free to reach out to me on my newly created Instagram account, and I'll try to get back to you. And if you have any suggestions or stuff on how to create video content, I'm definitely looking to do that stuff. I'm studying and I'm learning every day. So I look forward to hearing from you guys soon.